As the years go by, poem by Jenny. The older I get, the younger I feel, even though society tells me that's not how it is. They wanted me to be frozen at 18, with all my youthful beauty and naivety, when acceptance was everything to me. The older I get, the younger I feel, but that does not mean immaturity. Still got a whole lot of growing up to do. A human being remains unfinished. Just now, I'm not so easily fooled. The older I get, the younger I feel, pushing away the demons who took my sanity, teenage nightmare, no longer here, or the dreads of the early 20s. My inner child is finally healing. So that was a poem from my poetry collection, I Am Allowed to Be Angry, which as of the release of this video is out right now. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it that it's finally out. I started working on making it into a poetry collection in 2022 and now it's done. So in this video I kind of explain my aim with this poetry collection, what it includes, and so on. I hope you are interested in hearing what I have to say. But before we get too much into the poetry collection, I do want to show my solidarity with Palestinians. You know, the past 75 years of horror and especially the last few weeks of genocide in Gaza are horrifying, and my heart bleeds for all the innocent people suffering. The only way to reach freedom and safety and viable future for everyone involved, everyone, is to end the Israeli occupation of Palestine. And if you do not agree with that, I'm sorry. I chose the title I Am Allowed to Be Angry after a discussion I had with my therapist. I am no longer in need of professional support, but at the time I was. And it was a conversation I had with my therapist about a situation that I felt hurt in. And I was trying to describe how I felt, and I tried to come up with excuses like to not feel hurt. Actually, like they didn't mean it. No, I misunderstood. You know, maybe it wasn't that deep. Maybe it wasn't so hurtful. And then my therapist said in Finnish, obviously, you are allowed to be angry. And it opened up something in me. And I realized like I was really angry in that moment. And I've been angry for a really long time, but I always like tried to come up with excuses for it. If I remember correctly, this therapy session that I described was in 2021. I think, I'm not entirely sure. After hearing that sentence, I knew that this is something incredibly valuable for my life with mental health and my recovery and so on. And it was later on that I realized that I want to release a poetry collection with this title. So the poetry collection is 50 poems. Some of them I have posted on my Instagram before, but some of them aren't completely new. And those that have been posted on Instagram before, I have edited some of them. And the book is divided into 4 main sections that are about 10 poems long. Of course, there's introduction and the ending, but then there's Sense Youth, which is self-explanatory, but you know, some of my experiences from early childhood to now. Then there's Bodily Autonomy, or the lack of, which describes my personal battles with mental health issues and my physical health, but also the concept of our bodies being seen as a commodity for society. After that comes Ghosts, which is about past relationships that are no longer haunting me, but once did. Kind of going through my emotions of what I went through during those years. And then Structures, which is commentary on society as of right now. Well, during the years I wrote the collection, but also historical Finnish context, especially like my own family's experience as well, kind of. I decided to go with those 4 because I feel like when it comes to anger has so many emotions in it, right? Anger can be not just like full on hate, but it can be disappointment, it can be sadness, it can be hopelessness, it can be destructive, it can be dismissive. There's so much to anger. So I thought exploring anger in these themes felt very natural. And the point of the whole collection is that I needed to let myself be angry. I needed to let that anger come in so that through that anger I can feel love, I can feel accepted, I can feel safe, I can feel allowed to be whoever I want to be. These poems are not high art, they're not abstract, they're not like, wow, this has changed my life type of writing. The point of those poems is to let myself, my 22-year-old self, 21, 22-year-old self fucking scream and just rant out and just let everything out that's been here. And it's messy, it's at times quite embarrassing, it's not very well formed, but it's authentic. It's from my heart. And I think that's the most important part. Now I'm releasing this collection on Amazon as an ebook because if I were to release an audiobook, Amazon would take the rights for my writing and I don't want that. And I haven't looked into Amazon's print publishing well enough because I just don't want Amazon to take away my rights for my text. Maybe they don't with print publishing, but I'm not like too certain of it. So for now, it's just released as an ebook. I set the price for the collection at €3, but I do understand that we are living in a tough economical times. If you don't have that to spare, I completely understand. The most important thing for me about this collection was to get it out there, to have it out of here, to be there for people to read. Now, you could think that, well, you could have just released them one by one on Instagram, but the idea of having that collection, like swiping through the poems rather than just clicking on an Instagram post, that was really important to me. So that is also why I wanted to release it as an ebook. As for the covers of the book, the front cover and the back cover, I wanted my tattoos be present because I took most of my tattoos in my early 20s. I wanted to cover my face and cover my mouth specifically because that's what I've been doing to myself for all those years when I didn't let my anger in. But this collection is my way of removing my hands from my face. And the back cover is of my hands, my hands being off of my face. This is also a self-published collection because like I said before, the most important thing for me was to get it out there. It wasn't like getting money from it. It wasn't to get like an official publisher for it. And additionally, I don't think any publisher would have hopped on my collection because it's just, while it's really important and personal to me and I think it's good, I know it's not what publishers would want to release because the quality could be much better. And I know in the future I will write better poems and better stories and better novels, but this just had to be my first release because it depicts a time that deserves to be recorded but also deserves to be respected enough to be let go of. So most of these poems, apart from the poems that were already published on Instagram during the years I've had my Instagram poetry account, most of them were written from 2021 to 2023, and they depict different phases of my life, but it was mostly inspired by the latter half of 2019 when I went through a horrible time in my life. That was really difficult, and I still am so amazed that I got through it. I don't want to share the details of that time, maybe some other time I will. When I say that it's one of the worst times of my life, that's very well descriptive of it. And now, thanks to this poetry collection and a lot of therapy, I had so much therapy during that time. Thanks to those, I can now appreciate that I got through it even more. So, should I do my sales pitch? Well, if you want to read human emotions splattered around in a rant, consider purchasing this poetry collection. I will continue publishing poems on Instagram for free, obviously, even though the platform sucks when it comes to posting poetry, because I've had my poetry account since 2018 and I stopped posting on it for about a year, and because of that I'm basically hidden, but I'll still post there. Instagram won't stop me. So yeah, please consider purchasing I Am Allowed to Be Angry. I'm really proud of this collection and I hope you can enjoy it too. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Bye.